Today on Wake Up College Football, we'll be joined by musical guest Journey, who will introduce their brand new SEC East theme song, Please Stop Believing.
And we reveal Ezekiel Elliott's holiday wish list. It just says the ball. It's time to wake up, college football! Welcome to week 12 of Wake Up College Football. We're talking the awesome, unexpected, and meaningful of the week. That gentleman's name is Ryan Nanny. My name is Dan. It should have probably said it somewhere in there. So let's just start at the top.
Okay.
Michigan State. Woo!
Yeah, that's accurate.
It was a Ric Flair moment for them, taking down Ohio State on the road.
In that it was sort of old and rickety, and you didn't know if it was going to work out at the end or somebody was going to die unexpectedly.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely correct. Michigan State, with their backup quarterback, Connor Cook, a late scratch with his shoulder injury, goes to Columbus. They completely shut down Ohio State's offense of five-star wonder talent, and with their backup quarterback, Tyler O'Connor, do enough, just barely, to come out with a win. They were something like 2 touchdown underdogs, and that was without knowing Connor Cook's status. They run the ball enough. O'Connor was athletic looking. He was efficient when he needed to be. He didn't complete a ton of passes, but they survived a really awful special teams blunder that gave Ohio State a touchdown. They held Ohio State to one actual touchdown drive, and now have wins over Ohio State, Michigan, and Oregon. It's a good night.
They do not have wins over Nebraska, for what it's worth. Just
an all-time program, all-time
blue bloods of college football.
Yes, but this was shocking.
It was just because once you heard Connor Cook wasn't playing, I mean, he's the heart and soul of the Michigan State offense. How can they win without him? And how can they possibly win with this defense that, while it's still been pretty good this season, has not been the level of Spartan just dominance that we've seen
especially
in years
against the past.
So just so impressive what they were able to do against Ohio State.
What was your awesome thing of the week?
So Baylor comes back from a pretty tough loss last week to Oklahoma, which I think most people sort of said, well, that's it for Baylor. They don't have the schedule to play for the playoff. And you would have kind of understood if they had just packed it in from that point.
First time they've ever lost at that new home stadium.
Yes. They went on the road to Stillwater, tough place to play, and they looked very comfortable beating a previously undefeated Oklahoma State team, especially on defense. They racked up 6 sacks. They only have, I think, 10 in Big 12 play before this, coming into the game. Had to go to the third-string quarterback at one point, but still was able to move the ball. It's, considering Baylor is very much on the outside looking in from what their overall goals were, still very impressive that they were able to, if nothing else, make the season a little bit less pleasant for one of their conference mates.
Yeah, and it speaks to the depth that they've built up, that they can keep that offense going with even an injured Jarrett Stidham. Running the ball as well as they did. They finished with a beat-up TCU and just generally beat-up program in Texas.
And Katie Cannon finally had a really good coming-out game for them, which was nice to see. He's been kind of quiet this year.
All right, let's move to the unexpected. And Ole Miss, even though they had the success they did, what?
Well, unexpected Ole Miss could mean anything every week.
That is true.
So.
What did I do?
Right.
An unexpected Ole Miss in that we are now looking at an Ole Miss season in which they've lost to a pretty good AAC team in Memphis at this point, and they've beaten LSU now and Alabama. So it's a toss-up situation with which Ole Miss are you getting, and they're still a game away, if they win in the Egg Bowl and Alabama loses in the Iron Bowl, from getting to the SEC championship game. They beat LSU in a dominant fashion in their sort of pseudo-rivalry game. I know LSU doesn't like to talk about it like that, but the fact that Chad Kelly on the ground and through the air spread the ball around like he did, Leonard Fournette really never got into a comfortable space of going for 200 yards or something like that. They managed to hold him down, hold Brandon Harris relatively down in an inefficient way. Ole Miss is a really good team that is prone to stumbling, but still bouncing back nicely.
The other thing that's probably not unexpected at this point, LSU is not a team that can come back from a bad start to a game. They made this game closer by the end. But they can't, if they have a bad first quarter, you can kind of just count them out at this point. This particular LSU team.
This is true.
If Les Miles is actually coaching for his job, which I don't think that's necessarily true. He's not doing a great job of it.
Not at all. No, LSU doesn't have that, all right, let's go into a tempo mode where we can, march down the field and nope, they don't have that. That's not what their offense is. To you, what were you not expecting?
So, Les Miles is one of the coaching greats, one of the elder statesmen. Let's talk about the young class, maybe a guy who could be coaching at LSU one day.
Somewhere, yeah.
Obviously, I'm talking about Bob Diaco at UConn. Hans Houston, their first loss of the season.
Yeah.
In a very impressive defensive performance by Notre Dame's former defensive coordinator with the Huskies. They're bowl eligible now. And at the beginning of the season, I don't think that would have been put on your list of, these are things I feel pretty confident about. It's a testament to how interesting the American has been this season because, we start out and we say, okay, Memphis is the team to beat. And then we say, oh, maybe it's Houston. Oh, maybe it's Navy.
Maybe it's Temple.
Maybe it's Temple. Yeah. And now USF is looking great all of a sudden.
Yep.
UConn is up and beating Houston at home. I mean, it's been an interesting ride in America's former power conference, I think is the nicest way to put it. But still a lot of good football being played there.
Absolutely. And we'll move to the meaningful now. And let's go out west, specifically the Pac-12 South. The LA schools were considered to be a step above with their talent and their coaching at the start of the season. Well, one of those schools no longer has their head coach, and one of those schools is counting on a true freshman. So both of these schools take their lumps. More recently, USC gets completely thumped against Oregon in Eugene.
Yeah, I'm sure you feel terrible about that.
I feel awful. Yeah. I'm so sorry about that, USC. But again, these teams are playing for the Pac-12 South crown next week, which I think is both awesome, unexpected, and meaningful. That's what their season has been thus far. So when you look forward to this, you're going to have a true freshman at quarterback for UCLA and Josh Rosen, who they have a nice win over Utah. Defensively, they looked a lot better than they have in recent weeks, and they're still so beat up. And USC, as questionable as their offense is, their defense, other than the secondary performance against Oregon, has been okay.
Yes.
This is a team that has the talent to compete with nearly everyone in the conference.
Right, and it's a rivalry game that, especially on the USC side of things, they really want to win this.
They do, and they could have completely tanked. They could have lost to Colorado. They could have lost to Arizona, but they have been resilient. To you, what means the most looking forward?
Oklahoma, it wasn't pretty necessarily because, much like that Michigan State game, you said TCU losing their all-everything quarterback for this game. There's no way TCU is going to hang. And for most of the game, that was true.
It was.
In the second half, Oklahoma let TCU back into the game.
Baker Mayfield goes down.
2-point conversion away from possibly losing the thing outright. But they held on. And you're right. Without Baker Mayfield, this offense is not nearly what it should be. Samaje Perine did step up, though. Their only touchdown of the second half.
Incredible run.
And we've talked previously on the show about how he had such a slow start to the season, especially after his electric freshman campaign. But Oklahoma is surviving, and this was a week that's a really good thing to do. I mean, talk to Ohio State, talk to any number of teams right now. Surviving is better than not.
This is true. They end with Bedlam, and then you might have an Oklahoma-Notre Dame question mark for that fourth spot if Notre Dame can get by Stanford.
Cool.
Yay. Cool. Super fun. All right.
Argue about bad losses.
That's the show that is going to come on next.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching Week 12 of Wake Up College Football. We're here not that much longer because the season is about to end.
Savor it.
But we've got so much fun left. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.